It's Wednesday, which means that we have another Pink Slip to Power Move story for you. If this is your first time here, welcome to Pink Slip Pavilion. Make sure you hit that subscribe button or follow so that you never miss a story. This week we have Christine Morse and her story from Pink Slip to Powerful.
This pink slips the start, not the end.
Welcome to Pink Slip Pavilion, Christine. We're so excited to have you here in the pavilion and hear your story.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. We have to start with the most important question, which is, have you ever gotten a pink slip?
I have three of them.
Three. Okay, lots to unpack here. Set the stage. What was going on, and kind of walk us through whichever layoffs you want to. If we want to zoom in on all or one, you just let us know.
Well, actually, they all had a red thread going through them, which was an amazing step forward that I was able to make in each of them. So it's all basically the same story, but I, for so many years, was taking the blame, feeling ashamed. When you say you have three layoffs or pink slips, that to my age of person is humiliating because I'm still from the era where my parents stayed at one company their entire lives. And it wasn't, times are changing now. Now there's a lot more corporate restructuring. There's a lot more, there's downsizing, there's fluctuation in the economy. There's, one of mine was that they moved the entire organization to Mexico. I wasn't going to move to Mexico, so I didn't have a position. But then when each time happened, I was able to leave there with so much confidence, which is what I want to share today, is that each of them was an amazing step forward that I was able to make after I cried. But I realized all that I had learned, all that I could apply to the next one. And this is how I've been able to start my company now because of all these amazing experiences that I've had.
There is a lot to unpack there, and it's exciting to hear because I know there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and relate to times have changed. We're in a different world. There's new variables that are going on in different corporate environments that our parents, our grandparents didn't have to deal with. And I know there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So I'm excited to hear that there's blessings. We will get to those, but let's zoom in on those layoffs. Kind of walk us through what was going on in those different stages where you were getting those layoffs and what your mindset was in those moments.
Okay, so the first one that I mentioned was back in 1999. And that was when the word globalization was really starting to become popular. And many companies were moving because of tax benefits and many reasons, income wages, they were all moving to many people were moving their companies to different countries. And so my whole department was cut, the whole building was cut at that point. And then the next one was because I was moving up in the career ladder. And I don't want to mention the word ageism because that could be a whole different podcast.
Whole nother
But
conversation.
that's right. I never believed it to be true that as my coworkers who were older than me would talk about the bullseyes on their backs and things like that. But as I got older, I did start to realize those types of conversations were happening. But I was actually pink slipped, but I was actually at a point where I needed to leave. I was traveling 80% of my time for the corporation. I had two little ones at home. I was so dedicated and devoted to that company that I was not able to pull myself out. And it was 9 years of buildings and people and teams downsizing. It went from 15,000 employees down to 5 during that time. And I kept getting promoted to help cover in the spaces, right? So that's why I was traveling 80% of my time. But I loved the company so much that I was not going to leave, but my little ones needed me at home. And I was very distraught over that pull I was feeling. And it was the biggest blessing in my entire life that I was pink slipped because it allowed me to spend time with my kids and it launched me into my business. And then the third one was a client of mine. It was a 3-year contract, and I own a marketing business growth agency and for nonprofits and for profits. But this happened to be a nonprofit, and I doubled, tripled, and quadrupled their numbers, and they needed to hire an operations person to come in and manage the upswing, right? Whoop, whoop. But they couldn't afford both. And so I was the one. But actually, after that, the same thing. The most amazing blessings came my way afterwards.
There's so much in there, but I really want to zoom in on the tension piece of being pulled to want to be home with your kids, but also being really dedicated to your job and really life making that decision for you. I know there's a lot of women that are going to hear this and probably resonate with that feeling of, I really want to be home with my kiddos, but I'm also really dedicated to this job. And maybe there's some corporate restructuring and I'm feeling uncertain about it, but I'm so dedicated to my career. So it's amazing to hear that even though you were dedicated, you loved it, it wasn't a loss when that pink slip came. It was a blessing to be able to get rid of that tension and really spend that time with your kids.
Yes, 100%. So it was kind of a mutual agreement, but it was officially a pink slip. And I was devastated, but my son was going into kindergarten and I had to be there for when he got home to hear how his day went. Plus, he struggled with anxiety. So I needed to be there to make sure he was okay. And then my daughter has disabilities, and we found out that 3 months after that, we found out she had juvenile diabetes, and I could not travel for that. So it halted me in my tracks. Um, and I was in my mid 30s then. And when you're in your mid 30s, you're getting higher up in your career ladder.
Mhm.
You've gotten a lot of experience underneath you, and you could move up to the director or higher level in an organization. So that means you're really driven. But what really is important is your family.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people will also resonate with the globalization piece because there's been a lot, especially post-COVID, a lot of moving of departments and companies into other countries. And a lot of people have experienced reductions because of that and layoffs because of that. And then on top of that, the marketing piece, when you do your job too well and they need to hire someone else and they can't, I mean, that is just, it's a testament to your work, but I definitely understand like there is doing your job so well that you unemploy yourself, which is wild to even say. But let's talk about mindset. So how did your mindset evolve from that first layoff to the second to the third and like ultimately where you are today? What was that evolution like for you?
So I'm blessed to be able to look at the bright side of all things and every day, right? And be mindful of the goodness, right? So I'm gifted in that, but it was absolutely devastating because I wrapped and still do to some degree my persona into my career. I gave it my all. Like I had my jobs were woven into my bloodstream. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I could have been a workaholic if I had let myself, right? But I what I did was looked at it like a project. And I took each position and I said, what did I accomplish in those positions? What is a sellable product? So, what is it that I did? Put metrics to it. So, grew this by such a percent, or set this policy in place, or helped reduce costs at this company because I worked in this position and did this, right? There's always a way to put metrics to it. So each time that happened, I took a whole new set of metrics and I put it on top of like a building block. And now I am looking at those metrics and I'm able to know what I am good at. So
Mhm.
I used that for my own benefit. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's helpful to see. I think that there's two things there. One, that's a great resume tip. Make sure you're putting your
Mhm.
metrics in your resume so that you are giving tangible things that you've contributed. But the other thing is being able to visually see, look at everything I've accomplished when you're having that identity crisis of, I'm feeling like a failure. I don't know what's next. You're going through, like you said, it was woven into you. This is who I am. This is what I do. And so many people experience that. And then all of a sudden that work's gone. I love the fact that you took time to really put into data all the work that you've accomplished and really everything you've built, because then you can continue to build another block instead of feeling like the wall crumbled and there's nothing left for you.
That's exactly right. And if I had had my BFF, Claudia, then it would have been so much easier. So if I want to give a tip to everybody, if you take the free version of AI, which I love Claude, and you pour your heart out, just close your eyes and type the story. Angry, frustration, type it all. Sadness, where you felt you were slighted, what you did for the company, how you helped them, how you did such a good job, name it all. And then say to your AI agent, tell me how I can focus on this story to improve myself and what should I have learned from it, but then also how do I put that into metrics to show my successes? And it will do it for you. It removes the emotion, right?
That's a good point because AI does not have emotions. It's very logical. Sometimes we need a little bit more logic and a little bit less emotion in moments. So let's go into blessings because I think that's a great segue. And you've kind of alluded to some of the blessings, but what are some of the things that you would have missed out on had those pink slips not entered your life?
I would not have realized what I am very good at. I am unwavering now on what it is I am good at and what that is worth. And I truthfully, before this last 10 years or so, I wouldn't have been able to put my finger on it, what I was good at. I had to do a lot of soul searching. So it was a blessing for me to go through that soul searching and figure out why I was pink slipped, why that happened to me. Each time it happened, I moved up to something better, bigger and better that I mentioned. That's a blessing tenfold that happens for a reason. So there's so many blessings I can't even count. We had a lot of blessings because I got to spend time with my kiddos by starting my own business and understanding that flexibility was important. I never would have taken the step myself to leave and launch my own business. That's, I mean, I have a lot of courage and guts, but that was a blessing
Hmm.
that was provided to me forcefully, but somehow surrounded in comfort and confidence to just do it because I really have no choice at this point, right?
Yeah, I've heard that actually from a lot of my guests that went the entrepreneur route. I never would have taken the leap had I not been kicked out of the nest. And I can relate to that too. I've thought about being an entrepreneur many times in my life, but I never would have taken the leap out of corporate and out of the comfort, the perceived comfort to do this had I not been kicked out of the nest too. So I hear that from a lot of entrepreneurs that have experienced a layoff.
Yeah, 100%. So statistics are that it's less than 20% who really like their job. And to me, because I had so much wrapped into it, it was critical that I liked it. But what I found there was so many personalities, like so many bullies and so many people treating other people poorly within the organization. I didn't play well in those sandboxes. I didn't like it when I heard those things happening. So I was the one standing up saying, "Oh, he's not in the room. It's not nice to say those things." I was always the one being the rabble rouser. But now that I have my own business and I can pick my own clients, I don't have any of that in my life anymore. And that is a full on blessing for me.
Huge. So, with the wisdom you have today, if you could go back and you could talk to Christine at any of those layoff points or all three, what would you want to say to her?
Oh, I would say relax, honey. Just relax. So the words that come to my mind that I still use now, like I know people hate it. It is what it is. People hate that
I
saying.
love that saying, but
So many people hate it, but what it means is just relax. Like nothing is going to happen because of it. I can't change it. I have to just deal with it. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. There's people making decisions about your life that you do not even know about, and we can't stress about that because there's nothing we can do about it. Um, I was A+ employee, never got in trouble, never took time off, never called in sick. Most of the time didn't take my vacation, which I know is a very bad thing, but it just still happened, but it just happened to me at the right times. And I tried to treat it the right way to benefit me and my family.
I think it's important what you said about the things that you can't control because there's so many things that are out of our control. And like you said, I love that you said there are people making decisions about your life that you don't know about because that's such an interesting way to put it. And I think it's something we all need to hear. You can't control so many things going on in your life, particularly in a job setting. But what you can control is yourself and how you choose to meet those things. So rounding this out, if there's someone listening to this that is going through a layoff right now, or maybe still harbors some of the emotion that came with a past layoff, or maybe they're fearful that there's one coming down the road because, like we've talked about, it's a very interesting time to be alive. What would you want them to hear?
So stay calm and pull yourself together, sister, or man, person, human. Pull yourself together and think, what am I going to do with this situation? And I'm not saying forward all your emails or doing anything bad like that, but look around your desk and find the success stories. So, look in your email and look at all the relationships you created and built. Prepare a small, not small, prepare a portfolio while you're in the moment. If you think it's going to happen, because it will give you strength, internal strength, it'll give you internal power, it'll give you internal confidence, and then it will help you write your resume. And then you can use it to learn what you like and don't like. So part of the exercise that I did was listed all the bad and the good. And then I decided to cross out the bad and circle the good and lead my professional life in that direction, avoiding the stuff that I didn't like. And it taught me how to better relate with friends and family and my kids because of those exercises that I did, right?
So powerful. Thank you so much, Christine. I know that your story is going to impact somebody listening, and I just appreciate your vulnerability and being willing to join us in the pavilion.
Oh, thank you so much, Ashley. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I hope everybody out there is doing everything they can to be happy.
Well, there you have it. Maybe this is your opportunity to relieve that tension between work and home. Maybe this is your opportunity to find your strengths, to reconnect with your joy, to pick a path that better serves the season of life that you're in now. I don't know what your layoff season holds for you, but I do know that there is a blessing on the other side of this if you're willing to lean in and grow through it. These stories are the proof. I'll continue to bring them every Wednesday, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss a story. And if you want to connect with Christine, her contact information will be in the description of this episode. And we'll be back next Wednesday and every Wednesday until we can prove to you that your pink slip is just a power move in disguise. I'll see you next week.
This pink slip